Good evening, sir. Based on the last time we talked, you talked about the meaning of God, the origin of the name God, and I have a follow-up question. My question is, does it really matter the name is called? If it's God, if it's Olodumare, if it's Osalobua, does it really matter? Or is it not the same spirit that emulates all beings? So does the name matter if you call him Osalobua, if you call him God, or if you call the energy to say? If you call the energy Osalobua, if you call the energy God, or you call him Olodumare, does it matter? Please.
So let me start from the thing that they call name.
Okay.
Name is a spiritual identity. That term name is a spiritual identity. So it is everything about your destiny. Any name given to you, the name defines you. It defines the spirit, the energy in you. So it has to be the real name and nothing else. So Olodumare, Osanobua, Ubangiji, in the African Odua climb, this name are not just ordinary name. It is not a name that is given by man. It is not from the imagination of man. It is not from the fantasies of man, unlike God and Allah. These are names given by man. These are names that are production of man's thoughts, idea, opinion. Olodumare is a very distinguished phrase. Each word or syllable that make up that sentence-like name, Olodumare, actually means something. And the best way it can be described in English is the ultimate, universal, conservator of energies. Energies of life, light, and sound. You see this energy of light and sound, there is one thing they call Mari. Mari is a reflection or is referring to what we call movement or motion. And these are the three things, and these are the things you see in those three things matter. And mentioned, hair is always a movement, moving. When it moves, we call it wind or you call it breeze. It goes into the solid body of plants, animal, and humans as carbon dioxide in plants, as oxygen in man and animals. So it moves, it's air in circulation. Look at sound too. Sound too also moves as vibration, as vibes, as echoes. Look at what is called light. Light moves as fire, as heat, energy from the sun to the earth. So that Mari is an explanation of those three characters, those three energies. Olodu. Odu means port. Odu means port. So all of these energies were initially ported, and that's why we say it was conserved inside a port. And that's why we say ultimate universal conservator. So what are the things that are conserved inside that, so in the so-called port? The thing conserved there, they are these energies we talk about: air, light, and sound. So these energies become galvanized and they get galvanized into movement, into motion, which is called mare. Continue to move, so to say. In the literal word, continue to move, mare. So that's motion, that's kinetic motion. So the things inside this pot came out. They developed legs to move. You understand? They move out. And that's why they are able to get to every part of the universe. And this universe is divided into two, which the Christian decided, or the Abraham faith people decided to theologize as heaven and earth. There's nothing like heaven and hell or whatever. What we have is the universe. And this universe is not just one, it's one that has layers that is called multiverse. But let me just pick an example of the two there, which was revealed to us in IFA, in this Odu portal that we call Osa Ogunda. Osa Ogunda let us realize that this universe came into being as a result of endless, formless, shapeless dews emanating, coming out, embossed from the conservator, from the potted, from this big pot that came from nowhere. So this pot was throwing out dews. So as this dews was coming up, then there is a figure that appeared from nowhere, from that bus too. It's called a camera. A camera. A camera now happens to be the person that began to shape these endless dews, shapeless dews, formless dews that was coming out. He began to shape them. So he shaped them in the space, and he now called one the celestial space. He called the other one the terrestrial space. And that's what we have now till tomorrow. Till tomorrow. The space is what we go up there. Then nobody know the depth of this earth. Scientists are still trying it. As they go into space, they also go into the sea. Nobody has seen the base of the sea. It still goes further. The Russian tried it with their submarine, which they developed. It got to a point, it got suspended, it could not go further. So what we have is this space that is divided into two, which is called celestial space and the terrestrial space. Okay. So where God comes in, I don't know. Where Allah comes in, I don't know. Then there are these other people that also bite into this IFA knowledge. What is IFA? That's another question we need to ask ourselves. What is IFA? IFA, according to IFA itself, IFA is a natural universal phenom of store of knowledge. Store of knowledge. IFA is like your Wikipedia, like your Facebook, where information, like your Google, where information is stored. What is knowledge? Knowledge is information. Knowledge is principles. Knowledge is tested facts, which are referred to as theory. It is a tested fact that when the day breaks, the sun appears in the sky,
Mm-hmm.
and it brings forth nothing but light.
Light.
So this is a principle that we tap into making electricity. This is a principle that we tap in making ointment and balm and what have you. That at a particular temperature, it shall melt this.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the things we tap. We use wisdom to apply principles or knowledge into making our immediate environment comfortable for us. And what do we have in IFA? IFA is an embodiment of 4 things. I tell people it's an embodiment of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and spiritual intelligence. In Yoruba language or Odua language, we say, Ifá ó kún fún ìmọ̀, ọgbọ́n, òye, àti làákàyè. Ifá is an embodiment of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and spiritual intelligence. That is Ifá for you. Ifá is not a divinity. I let people realize that Ifá is like a telephone. It's used for communication. It is used for communication. It's basically for communication. That's it. And it is also in Ifá that we realize that Ifá was taught to somebody, only one person, by this thing we call Olodumare, taught just one person, one of his lieutenants, one of the divinities, one of the energies, and that energy goes by the name Orunmila. Orunmila, according to the Ifá, Odu Ifá portal that we call Odi Irosun or Idiaisun, that is Odu number 4 and Odu number, what's that? Is that number 8? Let me get right. Odu number 4 and number 6, Odi Irosun, I think. So Odi Irosun was the one that told us that Olodumare communicated with just one person, and that is Orunmila. So what is their channel of communication? What is their channel of communication? What is their tool of communication? Their tool and channel of communication is Ifá. So it is Orunmila that in turn now taught all the Babalawus, all the other divinities like Obatala, Oshun, Shango, Oshuze, Erinle, all of the other divinities who are 801 in number.
801.
Yeah, 801. Even Eshu, he was the one that taught all of them how to use Ifá to communicate. And all the animals, all the plants, all the fishes, every creature were taught how to communicate in Ifá, the language that Olodumare communicated ab initio with Orunmila. So Orunmila taught everybody except one person, and that is called Osonyi. Osonyi is the divinity in charge of herbal medicare.
They don't know anything about Ifá.
He doesn't know anything about Ifá. And coincidentally, is the younger brother of Orunmila. Why he was not taught is because he was handicapped, deaf and dumb, then physically challenged. So Orunmila will always back him into the bush every morning, into the forest to relax there. While he was in the forest, he was able to develop this keen ear to hear the language of the plants and what have you. So he was able to tap into the knowledge of what are the uses of this particular plant or herb or whatever. So he knew that very well. In fact, the major tool that is being used by Babalawo to cast Ifa is called Eke. That Eke in English is referred to as palm kernel nut. Who discovered the idea that this palm kernel nut is a vibe for Ifa communication? It was Osonyi. And that's why Osonyi is called Osonyi Biki, Olubiki. That is, Osonyi discovered the vibes, the communication vibes in Eke, and presented it to his elder brother, Oromila. And Oromila started using it. But before you consult Osonyi for any Medicare, you have to praise Osonyi to let the Babalawos realize that what you are using for your communication, for your consultation, was actually discovered by Osonyi. So let's stop for that.
Thank you very much. I will have another question another day. For now, thank you.
Just before we cut off, let me quickly mention this. This system of communication is also what they use in China, and it's also what they use in Japan.
Okay.
Long time ago, 6 million, 10 million years back, is what they use. In China, it is called I Ching. I Ching in China is called I Ching. While we do our own notation vertically, 2, 2, 2, 2, like that vertically, 4 on the right, 4 on the left. Vertically we do it. They do their own horizontally, 4, in what they call I Ching or I Ching. Then, of course, in Japan is no difference between Ifa in Nigeria, in Africa, from the one they do in Japan, but they call it Shintoism. Then at this point, I need to let you even know the fact that because the origin of Ifa was not known by man, they at the instance of the Japanese government, they told UNESCO to designate Ifa as a World Human Heritage in the year 2009. You would always know the time Bible was written. You would always know the time Quran was written, but nobody knows the origin of Ifa except Ifa itself. The origin of Ifa is released inside Ifa. The Odu is in Osirete. Osirete, there's another story that goes with that. When the time comes, we should talk about that.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your knowledge.